Hello, 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 hello. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Those of you who are coming in, won't you go ahead on and give me those hearts and share. Share now. Hello, hello, Terrell. Hello, LaJona. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. Go ahead on and share. Hello, Tasha Lean. Hello, Lee. Hello, Lady PNC. Hello, hello, hello. Won't you go ahead on and share with all of your followers so we can get started. There you go. Thank you so much, Tasha Lean, for sharing. Thank you so much. Come on in, come on in. Thank you so much, Lady PNC. I'm so excited to come to you again this week. Good evening, good evening. Tell your son I said hello. Hello. Come on in. Come on in. I'm so excited to share with you all on tonight, as I am each week. Thank you all for your commitment to be on LeaderScope each week. It is always a joy to come on and to see that you're on each week. If you are joining in on LeaderScope for the first time, please let me know where you're coming in from. So welcome to LeaderScope, but let me know where you're coming in from as you're coming in. If you're a first time, let me know that you're a first time viewer. And give me those hearts. For those of you who are a friend of leadership, hit those hearts and share. If you're Apple user, I think you swipe to the left. Android, swipe up and share. And we're going to get started. Hopefully everyone had an opportunity to see the subject matter on tonight. We're going to be dealing with the leader's vulnerability. Leader's vulnerability. I know that is a very strange topic, and of course it's how we look at vulnerability. But we're going to tackle the subject on tonight about vulnerability. So come on in and share, and we're going to get started. But I've gotten some rest. I had to minister twice today, had to preach twice at both of our services on today. But I have gotten my rest, so I am energized to share with you all on tonight. So let's get started. Continue to hit those hearts. Continue to share as we move forward. Here we go. Leaders' vulnerability. Of course, when we talk about vulnerability, when we hear that, of course, naturally we talk about the potential of setting ourselves up to be hurt. When we talk about vulnerability, we talk about the potential of setting ourselves up to be hurt or to be damaged in a sense. But when we talk about leaders' vulnerability, I want to talk about it from the perspective of you being honest and open about your weaknesses, When you are given an assignment, to do a specific task, here's a question that I want to raise to you. Do you honestly stop and ask yourself this question? Can I perform this task? Can I perform this task? Do I have the skill set? Do I have the resources to complete this task that's been given to me? So this becomes very critical in you becoming a successful and an effective leader. See, most of the time as a leader, we never want to put ourselves in a position that makes us look ineffective. We never want to put ourselves in a position that make us look ineffective. So if we are a leader and we're under a leader, and that leader comes to us and gives us a specific task to perform, and then that leader gives us a deadline, how honest are we with that leader in terms of our ability to perform that task, or our ability to complete that task within that time frame? So we're talking about vulnerability. Most of us would never open ourselves up as a leader to be vulnerable at the level to say to our leader, I don't have that skill set. I cannot do that specific task. I cannot complete that task within the time frame in which you're asking. Now, if you can get to that place, then you are entering a place of being open and honest as a leader. That does not make you an ineffective leader. That does not make you a bad leader. So don't think that I have to put myself in a position where I can't be true to who I am. The greatest thing you can be as a leader, as an effective leader, is to always be true to who you are. That's the most important thing, is to always be true to who you are. So when your leader comes to you and asks you, can you perform this specific task? Open yourself up. Be vulnerable to that leader. I cannot perform that. I don't have the skill set. Listen, if you can't do it, you can't do it. There's no need to say I can do it and you know you cannot do it. Because if you take on the task and you know you can't do it, all you're going to do is add stress to yourself. You're going to add unnecessary stress to yourself. And why do that? Or you're going to take on the task. You're going to have this deadline before you. You're going to be stressing to meet the deadline. And what happens when that deadline comes and you do not meet that deadline? Then your leader is going to evaluate you on your completion of that task, and did you meet that deadline? So you're gonna be stuck between a place and a hot rock. You don't want to do that. You want to be honest on the front end. You want to be open yourselves on the front end. And here's the reason why we don't do that. Here's the reason why we're not that open and honest. Here's the reason why. Is because we don't want to look ineffective to our leader. We don't want to look inadequate to our leader. Because the next time, we don't want our leader to overlook us for a specific task. We don't want our leader to look beyond us if they are assembling a team or putting a team together to do a specific task. So the vulnerability that it takes is to open myself up. Now, what you can do, here's a solution you can do. You can ask your leader, is this the, doing this task and this and meeting that deadline, is this the absolute last day for this task to be delivered? Or can it be extended? I can remember the very first time I had to do that. And I grew honest. I had to grow to the place of being very honest. I was given a task to do. My leader asked me to do it within a specific time frame. And I knew I was not going to be able to make that deadline. So before I walked out of that meeting, I was honest. I opened myself up. I became very vulnerable to that. I became very vulnerable. I'm not going to be able to meet that deadline. I would not be able to deliver this task within 7 days. I just had to be honest. So we discussed the deliverable, and we came up with a deliverable date that was realistic. And that's where you want to get. You want to be able to get to a place that's realistic. Now, because the task was assigned to the area in which I was responsible for, the task could not be given to anyone else. And sometimes the task is going to have to go to you. The task is going to have to go to you because it falls within your specific area. So your leader cannot go over you. So let's just talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about what happens when the task has to be given to you. Well, when this happens, when you are the person where the task has to be assigned to, and you do not have that skill, you do not have that skill set, this is where an effective leader kicks in with developing a systematic strategy to getting this task completed. You have to then find or have the necessary resources that you can pull together to complete the task. Yesterday I was training some leaders. Yesterday I was training some leaders at my church. And one of the things I shared with them is a lot of times when we talk about leadership, we tend to try to separate leaders from managers. But one of the revelations I got is that leaders and managers are really woven together, because even a leader have to be able to operate out of the functions of management. And the functions of management is planning, leading, organizing, and controlling their area. I'm going to say that again. The management functions, a leader has to be able to operate out of the functions of management, which is planning, leading, organizing, and controlling. So because of that, you as the leader have to be able to operate out of the management functions if your area is going to be effective, or even if you're going to be effective as a leader. So if you're given a task and you don't have the skill set, and that task is designed for your specific area, and there are people under you, and naturally, if you're a leader, you have people under you, you're going to have to be able to, one, plan out how that task is going to be completed. What are the strategies that you can put in place to get this task done? What are the milestones you can put in place? All that is a part of the planning process. Okay. And then leading. You got to lead the team to meet the deliverables along the way. So when you're planning, in that planning process, you have milestones. There are certain deadlines that you're going to meet along the way. So now you're going to lead your team to meet those milestones. You assign and empower different individuals to meet certain dates and bring certain deliverables to the table. So that's planning and leading. And then you're going to organize. Okay, you're going to organize. You are going to structure your team together around the task. You're going to structure the team around the task. So that's planning, that's leading, that's organizing, and then controlling it. Okay, then controlling it, which means you're going to make sure that everything is operating effectively. Now, there is one task or function that you're starting to hear more and more when it comes to the management, which is staffing, and with the staffing part, that means that you're going to need to make sure that you have the right people doing the right tasks or assignments to the task. So even as the leader, you're not managing, but you're making sure the functions of management is put in place to be able to do that. Okay? You're making sure the functions of management. Now, you may assign someone to manage each one of those areas or each one of those functions. But as the leader, you're putting that strategy in. So when your leader comes to you with a specific assignment or task, and you know you don't have the skill set, but you have a team of people, your vulnerability may be, I can't get it done myself, but I can get it done with the people that are up under me. And in order for me to do that, then the management functions have to be systematically put in place in order to get it done. Okay? Now, biblically, we see this with Nehemiah. Nehemiah biblically was seen as a great leader. But we also see Nehemiah functioning or employing the functions of management when Nehemiah rebuilt the wall. He put those functions in place. Okay? So, although he was considered a great leader, he had people following him. He got people to buy into the vision of rebuilding the wall. He systematically put a strategy in place by the management functions, and he gave assignments to those who had brought into the vision of rebuilding that wall. And they all started functioning out of their skill set. It never said that Nehemiah knew how to rebuild the wall, but he got a team of people to help him do it. Your vulnerability is to be able to say, I don't have the skill set to do it. I cannot meet that deliverable date. However, I have a team of people that I can strategize and come up and design a plan, come up with a plan to get it done. But I need more time. So is this time realistic in getting it done and delivered to you by a specific time? And if that's the case, then you come up with the time that's realistic to be able to do. Okay? But again, most of us don't want to be that vulnerable because we don't want our leader to look down on us or think bad of us. So what happens? We sit in the meeting. They want to give us a task. We take it and then we walk away and then we stressed. We stress. We holding our head. We bamming our head. We rubbing our head for the next 8 hours. We're trying to think of how we're going to get it done. We're stressing. We're worried. We have headaches and migraines. When all we had to do was have dialogue with our leader and come up with a strategy of getting it done. So tonight, I want you to walk away with understanding. It's okay to open yourself up and be vulnerable. It's okay. It's okay to do that. But have a system in place that can keep you as an effective leader. It will work for you. It will work for you. It's strategizing. It's planning. It's leading. It's organizing. It's controlling. And you can add the other one. It's staffing. It's utilizing the management functions even though you are a leader. Just because you are a leader doesn't mean you throw out the functions of management. It doesn't make you a manager. It just means that you have the skills to function as a manager while you're leading others. So that's what I wanted to share tonight with you all. I'm always trying to challenge you all to think a little more out of the box about being an effective leader. Because I believe that so many times leaders get burnt out. They're stressing out because we carry so much inside of us as leaders, not just because we're leading people, but because of the task that we assume along our journey to be an effective leader without putting the necessary strategies in place to get the task done. Okay, so any questions tonight? Any questions tonight about any topic about leadership? Let's go to Q&A time now. Any questions? Let me see those hearts. Those hearts dropped off tonight. I hope because maybe something I said just kind of froze you up. But let me see those hearts. Give me those hearts. Give me those hearts. But let me see some questions tonight. Let's help the team. Let's have some open dialogue on tonight. Any questions tonight? Any questions on tonight? Any questions? Come on, I'm a friend of leadership. I know you all have some questions tonight. How was your week? What did you apply about leadership on last week that made you even more effective in your assignment as a leader? Come on, let's have some dialogue. Let's have some Q&A and some conversation on tonight. Anyone? You guys are silent tonight. You're quiet. Micromanager just killed me. Let me ask you a question. How do you define micromanagement? How do you define micromanagement? Anyone jump in. How do you define micromanagement? Thank you for those hearts. Keep those hearts going. Because, I don't know if I ever shared this, but I did management with Payless Shoe Source for 10 years. And I didn't develop the skill to be a micromanager. I didn't. Because I felt that once I hired a person, and I trained them, and then I given an assignment and come to you every 30 minutes, constantly looking over someone after a task is given. Yeah, those are the traits of a micromanager. I believe that what I used to believe is once I have trained you and empowered you and evaluated the training. And I felt like you caught on. Well, if I gave you the task to do, I gave you the space to do it. I just felt like a person was grown, and I shouldn't have to keep coming back to you as a child, giving an assignment and not allowing the individual to do it. Yeah, sometimes as a leader and even as a manager, you have to give a person the opportunity to do it, and you have to give the person the opportunity to fail. In the church is crazy. Yeah, I do believe, and I've come to understand that sometimes you do have to have a little micromanagement. And you tend to get a little micromanagement from leaders, especially when they are the visionary. Because we tend to guard in some aspects the vision, and we want to make sure our vision is going to be given birth to appropriately. So there's always cases where micromanagement is necessary, but I just believe that you can't overdo it, but you need to make sure that the details are being worked out, and you need to make sure that the dialogue is effective on the front end. That kind of helps out to make sure that that micromanagement doesn't have to really take place. But in some cases, with the micromanagement, if you are the type of person that don't like micromanagement, you need to make sure that when a manager or a leader gives you a task, that you communicate back to them exactly how you have interpreted what they have said to you. Okay? Just kind of interpret it back to them what you said. So both of you can make sure there's total clarity in the details of the assignment. But you do have some that are going to be micromanagers, and honestly, that's just who they are, and you can't always get away from it. I mean, it's going to be what it's going to be. You can't really get frustrated. Just have your ducks in a row. Just be proud to know that when they come back to you, the tasks and the things that you have decided to do by the time they come is done. That's what I've had. That's what I learned to do a long time ago. When I was an assistant manager at Payless, I had a micromanager. And what I did was I just made sure that when they come to me, certain tasks was going to be completed. And it gave me great joy that when they come to me, I was able to say, oh, that's done. Oh, that's done. Oh, that's done. So after a while, really, they just kind of stopped coming. Do it themselves. Well, it's do it themselves is, and I didn't see the rest of it. It kind of moved away, but they can't do it themselves. It's not their assignment. Let's be honest. It's not their job to do it. It's your assignment, and I know that's a tough pill to swallow, but it's not their job. Honestly, their job is to manage the processes. I had a conversation yesterday. With the individual, and like I told them, what happens most of the time is leaders get frustrated with processes because you haven't made the process your friend. You haven't made the process your friend. You made the process your enemy. The process really should become your friend, because if you make the process your friend, then you see how the process is going to work to help you achieve your ultimate goals and objectives. So if you make the processes your friend, then you will be in a much better position to know that the processes are designed to really help you. They're not developed to govern you. They developed to help you. So, you can't get so frustrated till you say to the manager, you say to the manager, that's your job. Now, come on, they give you just enough to start the project. Well, that's an empowerment issue. That's an empowerment issue. And that's a conversation that you need to have. If they're giving you just enough to start the project, then that's where the conversation has to be had with them in terms of really looking at the total scope of the project, everything that is needed for the project to be completed. And then you have to be able to, now this may be on your end, you may have to be able to look at the total scope of the project and then know what it's going to take to complete the project. And then you have to, again, ask the question, what resources do I have, you as the individual have, to complete the project? Or you need to ask them, what resources do we have? And use certain language. What resources do we have to make this project, to complete this project? Because even though they're the manager, they're also on the team together. Okay. So if they're giving you just enough to start the project, then what is the overall goal and objective of the process? I mean, of the project, of the project, and what's the total scope of the project, and what are all the resources that is needed for the project? See, it's a two-way conversation that has to be had. Don't just walk away. You know, they give you a project, just don't walk away. You gotta think, you gotta use your mind, you gotta communicate. So if they give you a project and you feel like, okay, they just giving me just enough, you gotta think immediately, or you have to return to your workstation, and you may want to, send them an email, or give yourself a few hours to think more about the project, and then send an email, per our conversation about this project. I have a few additional questions as I was thinking of the project and the scope of this work. Do we need this? I believe we may need this. That's where you have to have that dialogue. That's where you have to have that complete dialogue about the project. And then go from there. Okay. The goal to me is to use my money and say the Lord is going to bless you, is the church folks. Okay, I totally don't understand that. Because you're talking about money. I'm not understanding the donation, except delegation and come with the donation. I'm not sure what type of project you're referring to, where it's requiring your money. So you have to excuse me on that. So maybe you can explain that a little more to me. Any project. Yeah. I'm a little lost on that one. So you have to excuse me on that one. Maybe you sent something prior to that and I didn't get a chance to read that. All right. Thank you for understanding. I do my best to make sure I'm reading, and sometimes, they kind of go kind of quick. So excuse me on that. But, again, even if it has something to do with your money, it's your money. So you still want to know, you still want to get more detail. That's the bottom line. If it's a project that's going to require your financial support, you still want to get as much detail. You still want to get as much detail as you possibly can. Because you're going to be, you're responsible for helping this project. So you want to have as much dialogue as you possibly can. Never go into a project totally blind. Because you got to put your money where the project is going. All right. Great conversation. Great conversation. Thank you. Yeah, inbox me for more clarification to Cotton & Company on Facebook. Thank you, Lady PNC, for that. I appreciate that. And we can have some more one-on-one conversation about that. Any more questions? Any more questions? Listen, I do my very best to address your questions that you have. So if there is something that you need more clarity on, you can always go to CCLG Cotton & Company Facebook page, inbox me, and we can definitely have more conversation to do that. So you can have a little more clarity to that. Yeah, so we can always definitely be able to do that. There's always a way of contacting me. All right. So let's just make sure, again, to kind of wrap up, what is a leader's vulnerability to major success? What is a leader's vulnerability to a major success? Hello to the Levettes. The leader's vulnerability to major success is really being able to say to your leader if they assign you a task. If you do not have that skill set to be open and honest, to say, I do not have that skill set to do that task, without the fear of being rejected the next time a task is given, or the vulnerability is to be able to say that you cannot meet the projected deadline. And then that gives you an opportunity to have dialogue with your leader of a realistic deadline. So that's the vulnerability. And most of the time we do not open ourselves up to be that honest. So we take on the assignment knowing, one, that we do not have the skill set. Two, we take on the task knowing that we cannot meet the deadline. And what that does is that sets us up to be ineffective. And then it stresses us out because we're trying to get something done that we just do not have the tools to get done. But when you're open and honest with your leader is going to value you more because of your honesty. Okay? They'll value you more because of your honesty. Trust me with that. Trust me with that. So you want to be able to do that. You want to be able to do that. I appreciate you all being on tonight. Won't you give me those hearts? Give me more hearts before we get out of here. And won't you go ahead on and type in, I'm a friend of leadership. I am a friend of leadership. Thank you all for joining. For those of you who are viewing for the first time, I believe that everyone that views each Sunday night and hear my voice, I believe that you are a friend of leadership. So won't you join in with us on tonight and hit I'm a friend of leadership. Type in I'm a friend of leadership. As well, you can go to my website. You can go to Cotton and Company website and see what my company is about. Follow me on other social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google Plus, Pinterest. I'm on just about every one of them, so I can be reachable with the things that I have to share. Lady PNC, if you can put that back up a couple of more times to make sure people get the website. As well, inbox me. I do a monthly newsletter for all of my friends of leadership. I am planning to write this month's newsletter, so I will be doing that this week. It is on my to accomplish list. And let me just share this. Remember last week I talked about that. I shared that with you all, that I started out doing my to-do list, and I discovered that I had done that in the past, and I would always get maybe like towards the end of that list and just say, you know what, I will roll something over to the other week, and would never really finish everything that was on my to-do list. So I changed my mindset. I needed to shift my mindset. Now this isn't everybody, but this was me. So I want to share my experience with you. Just share my experience with you. So I changed my mindset. I changed my thinking. So what I did was, instead of doing a to-do list, I put the pressure and the weight on my thinking. So what I did was I did a to accomplish list. So it drove me to accomplish everything that was on that list for that week. And guess what? I finished everything on that list last week. So I'm preparing now to do my list to accomplish, and I'm going to stick to that regiment. It's changing my mindset to get things done, because I do not believe that whatever I'm working on within a week should roll over to the next week. Not going to be doing that. So if you've never done it, or if you're the type of person like I was that was doing a to-do list, and you noticed that you would have 2 items or 3 items that was rolling over to the next week, and you was literally saying to yourself, oh, I just put that off to next week and make it the first 3 priorities for next week. Listen, try the to accomplish list and then work at doing it. Make it realistic though. I didn't make this long list. I didn't make this long list. Yes, procrastination. Yeah, we got to break that. We got to break that. We got to break that. That's why you have to make some things realistic. Sometimes we're really not procrastinators. We just not realistic with what we're doing. You know, we make these long, unrealistic list of things to do. And listen, we're not super leaders. We're trying to be effective leaders. Ooh, that was kind of good. That was kind of good. We're not super leaders. We're trying to be effective leaders. Okay. Effective leaders are better than super leaders. We're not going in a phone booth and then coming out with the big SL on the front of our shirts. We're coming out, we're sitting around with the EL on the front of our shirts. Now I'm probably getting a little carried away with that. All right. But no, we're just trying to be effective leaders so we can accomplish everything that we need to accomplish as leaders, and we can lead the people that's following us to a very healthy place. And remember, leadership is a journey. It's a journey. And we're walking that every day. We're walking it every day. It's a journey. It's a journey. When we wake up as leaders, we're putting that destination. We putting that thing in our GPS system, and we're just following that GPS system. And along this journey, there's going to be some detours. There's going to be some roadblocks. All right. But you know what, man, when you stick to that, you're going to get to where you ultimately want to go. You will. You definitely will. You got to keep your eye on the road. Don't come off that route that's set. And if for some reason you come off, you got to be willing to listen to the directions when it tell you that it has recalculated that route and is getting you back on route. It's going to tell you that. Most GPS systems would tell you sometimes to make a lawful, safe U-turn. And you got to hear that and get back on route. All right. So I'm a friend of leadership. LeaderScope, thank you all for coming in on tonight. Listen, I will be here next Sunday. I will be here next Sunday. So I will see you all on next Sunday. God bless you. I believe in you. I will be chatting with you real soon. Remember, share this on your page on Facebook so others can hear it. All right. There's nothing wrong with leaders admitting he missed a turn. No, there's nothing wrong with it. You listen, be an honest leader. That means you're an integrous leader. Pastor, you're right. Be honest. Just say, hey, I missed it today. I missed it today. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, be honest. I missed it today. Listen, you're not gonna hit the mark every day as a leader. And just be honest. Assess it. And then you come back stronger tomorrow. Say, I missed it today, but I'm gonna get it tomorrow. All right. That's all you have to do. Be an integrous leader. Do the assignment to the best of your ability. Build a strong team around you. Your people are only as good as you are. And enjoy the journey. You're welcome. See you all next week. Remember, go to the company Facebook page, inbox me, or go to my website. If anybody want some one-on-one coaching with me, just let me know. And we'll see you. Nice shirt. Thank you. That's my company shirt. Cotton and Company Leadership Group. That's my logo. Thank you. Thank you. All right. You guys have a good evening. Get some rest and be prepared to lead the people that's following you on tomorrow. Again, God bless you. I believe in you. I'll be chatting with you real soon.